come.
I'm gonna lock you in something if you're not careful.
I might like that.
I think revenge is pretty good.
Well, now it's a shrimp.
Let her be. She deserves it.
Ojo?
I'm used to the ones that put you in a cage and that's it, okay?
Welcome to Leave Your Brain at the Door podcast. Today, I get to be the host. Me, Alan. And I am joined today by, of course, my lovely friends, John and Gretchen.
Hi.
Hello.
Today for the podcast, I apologize to any non-anime and related media fans, because we are going to be doing some tier list making. Specifically around mostly anime tropes. I have put together multiple tier lists for them to order, although I may have trouble not inserting some of my opinions for these, because I have strong opinions when it comes to anime. I've got, what? You have a problem with my opinions already?
I
Disqualified.
I just agreed with you.
Alright, I've got 3 tier lists for us to be compiling today. The first will be going over some fairly common dere tropes, which I'll explain some of those. And the second list will be just common tropes of things that tend to happen in a lot of anime series, some of which are genres. And then lastly, we will have a tier list for just general media trope stories that came up, some things that popped into my head. Although I'm realizing now I forgot to put one in. Without further ado, let's get started on the first tier list. Oh, and as a disclaimer, these are just funny opinions. They're not objective in any way, which I feel like
Mine are
people...
objective.
No, we're trying to solve discourse in society, okay?
No.
I'm
solving it by saying these are correct. If you deviate, you die.
Can we stop with the death?
Yeah, I was just saying, we keep coming back to this, like, killing people thing. So, this is the first tier list, as has been on the screen for a little while now. I have different representatives for each of the deres. I will explain said things right now. So, for the first list, we've got the different deres, which I have selected some. There are more or less, depending on who you ask. Just a brief explanation. Baka dere is what you think it is. They're idiots. Dan dere is kind of overlap with Haji dere and Ku dere, which is just often silent and expressionless, and then later cute. Dere dere is just happy, overly affectionate. Ero dere is like initially very suggestive or teasing, and then eventually falls into like a more pure, innocent love. And then Haji dere / Tere dere is initially very shy and embarrassed, and then eventually overcomes that shyness. Kami dere, deity complex essentially, or literally a deity. Ku dere, cool, just calm and collected, initially kind of cold. Hime, Ojo / Oji, just wants to be treated like royalty effectively. Very like, yes, worship me peasants type vibe. And then tsundere, I mean, if you don't know what a tsundere is, I'm sorry, but in case you don't know, initially distant / standoffish, sometimes abusive, and tends to hide their affection before eventually showing it. And then yandere is the crazy ones. They look, funnily enough, they reverse the trend. They just seem normally affectionate, and then you find out they're a psychopath.
My tier list is gonna be bad. Like almost all of them are gonna be at the top. Except for like 1 or 2.
Listen, we don't have bad opinions, okay?
Also, there's different flavors of each one.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of the
where it
problem.
gets a little difficult.
That's kind of the problem. So whether you want to do it based off of the top end of the range and your favorites, or like the low end of the range, or just like the range in general, so like the average of
like,
across characters.
Just taking like yandere, for example, there's so many different kinds of yandere. I don't like some of them, and other ones I'm like, maybe?
Yeah, so a range. I think the best bet here is going to be to try and put it on a range of things. So, like, you know, you have to include some of the bad apples.
Working together on a tier list, or am I going
Up
to
to
go
you.
and be like, this is
Up
my
to
opinion?
you.
No, it's up to you. You're the host.
And then he goes and he's like, this is my opinion.
See,
or do we both put
you
them
know,
and
whenever
we
you
fight
throw-
each other?
You know when you put things up to me, then I'm just gonna flip a coin. So heads is gonna be co-op, and tails is gonna be PvP. Tails, you're fighting against each other. May the best tier list win.
Okay, so how does this work then?
I judge.
Are we making two separate tier lists and then combining them?
Yeah,
Or
well,
like not combining them, but comparing them?
yeah.
Okay. Well, go ahead, Gretchen.
All that to throw Gretchen under the bus first. You must use at least 3 different tiers. I will say that. You can use more than 5, but you must use at least 3, because otherwise it's not a tier list.
Tsundere
Tsundere, you said? Is what you want to do first?
goes here.
Alright.
Super fan. Tsundere is the best one.
Tsundere is the best one? You just saying it?
I don't understand why female tsunderes punch all the time.
Yeah, they get violent. That's
Cause like the tsunderes in my media don't do that.
yeah. Lucky.
So I don't know.
As a side note, my idiot self forgot the camera. That's why we have no video. Apologies. We'll have it next week. Assuming I don't forget again.
Just keep the camera here.
No, I want to stream.
Kudere. Yeah, kudere and dandere makes
So kudere is like cool. Cool.
Yeah. Goes in awesome. I would put it in super fan, but you told me I need to use 3 tiers.
You must use at least 3 tiers. Okay.
Can we make one of these tiers like it depends?
Yeah, sure. We can add an it depends tier. We're ruining my beautiful letters. It was SABCD, but now this is now
Well, that's too bad. You
It-
suck.
depends. I can't dead pens. I can't see because of the glare, and I wasn't paying enough attention.
Put yandere here.
Yandere it depends. Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough, but I will dock you points for being a coward. Okay.
There are certain kinds of yandere I don't like because they actually scare me.
Yeah, I know.
I'm used to the ones that put you in a cage and that's it, okay? And then they like go and kill your enemies.
Mhm.
I don't want to feel like I'm in mortal danger, okay? Sorry, who's this first one again?
First one is Fossilite. That's Bakadere.
Super fan.
Super fan. All right. Oh,
Cecil agrees.
Cecil isn't even looking at the screen.
Cecil, it's
Cecil
not your
doesn't
He
turn.
was looking at the screen.
It's
He's just not
your
anymore.
turn. Kamidere, also super fan.
know. Kamidere also super fan.
I like supernatural beings. Can this one just be like meh instead of dislike?
Sure, we can.
If I
put that as
don't
meh.
outright dislike any of these, they're just kind of like,
Yeah.
alright. I'll put these 3 in meh. The
Wow.
Ero, the Tere, and the
Okay,
Ojo. Ojo likes some of them.
fair enough.
That's another one.
Okay, but-
maybe that one goes in depends too.
My defense for Erodere would be simply that I like it when the character, because the initial thing is that they're suggestive, but then they become innocent and like more lovey-dovey normally.
So like the Playboy types too, I guess.
That's what I mean. Like, okay,
Okay.
you have to translate it to. You're just seeing Akeno and being like, don't care for Akeno. You have to think of the equivalent.
Well, that's your
For
fault
yourself.
for putting characters for these.
Well, yeah, okay. It was just look. The point
that
being,
would
but I'm
bump it
saying
up
that.
to it depends then, because some of them
Okay.
I'm just like, really, you're too much.
Yeah,
Go
no.
away.
That's why like I get it. for
And
some
then
reason.
other ones I'm like, all right, you're.
I know that's kind of hard to work with, but unfortunately, they don't give you an option not to put pictures.
Just put a picture, that's the word.
I don't think that'd be readable, but
She was dere.
yes, Ochako was dere. Okay. And last but not least,
Put the last one in meh.
just in meh. Okay. This is the
Meh.
oh, this is Dandere.
Which is...
Dandere is
Like unemotional.
yeah. All right. Is that your final answer for this tier list? Tsundere, Bakadere, Kamidere at the top, Kudere at awesome, Dere at based, Yandere, Ojo-dere, and Ero-dere, and it depends, and then Dandere and Haji-dere. Again, look, I hadn't even heard of Haji-dere
Haji.
before.
Me neither. When you said that, I was like,
Yeah, Hajidere slash Teredere. I had not heard of it, but I was like, well, it is fun to say Teredere.
Sounds like a dendenmushi.
Alright. Set it
I
in
mean-
stone. Oh, are we having some waffling? Are we thinking about it?
The problem is I played / consumed too much media, and I'm like, I can think of examples of all of these that I don't really like, and I can think of examples of all these that I do really like, and I'm indecisive.
The range.
Don't think of examples. Boil it down to its
Yeah,
roots.
It's root.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll keep it like this.
Alright,
I think this is the correct tier list.
we're putting it in stone. It's immortalized forever. This is her tier list. It can never change. She's not allowed to change opinions.
You don't sound very confident for someone who just said that this is the absolute truth.
Yeah, you literally let off with, this is the absolute truth, and anyone disagreeing is wrong.
Well, I'm saying it's the absolute truth now.
Alright. This is Gretchen's absolute truth. I'm going to take a picture. You're up to bat, John.
Alright, you're gonna have to remind me what
Do you
these
wanna
are
change-
and what they mean.
Okay, do you want to change the tiers to what Gretchen changed them to?
Yes.
Okay, so it depends in men.
The more work I can make Alan do, the better.
Wow. First off, Bakadere.
Bakadere, just stupid.
Yep, just stupid idiot, but then they like afterwards.
Because sometimes it's fun and sometimes it's just annoying.
Yeah.
It's the classic range.
Yep.
Because I want to say I like it in general.
Mm-hmm. On average, what gives you the most dopamine?
Let's put Baka in based.
Alright, in based. Right
Based for
smack dab in the middle. Nope, that's not. There we go. Alright, second up, Dandere. Silent and expressionless.
Silent and expressionless. Don't.
Gretchen just poked John.
What is this, Facebook?
Don't reveal how old we are.
I sometimes forget Facebook is still a thing.
Yeah.
Meh.
Meh? Alright, we're putting in a meh. Sorry, Comey fans. And just people of that who like that. Alright, next, Dere. Dere.
Just overly lovey-dovey.
Yep, affectionate, lovey-dovey, happy, a lot of the time.
The problem is I'm having a hard time for myself distinguishing between awesome and based.
It is difficult. We
Yeah,
could
I was
eviscerate
like,
the
is
awesome
based
tier.
just supposed to be like equivalent to average?
It's just B, but with a word after it.
Again, that's literally what it was. I
Average.
literally made superfan, awesome, based,
You should
cool,
have just
and-
put average.
average. No.
Because that's the thing, like, for me, B is good. B, like,
Yeah,
I see
yeah.
B,
B is not
as
bad.
above average.
That's what I was saying. C, like, C is
Yeah.
where it starts being like, depending on how you interpret it, it could be interpreted as negatively.
Yeah, from top
We're-
to bottom, it's like, literally the best, great, good, and bad.
Yeah, you can tell we're not Asian parents because we do rate B's as okay.
Okay. Because C is supposed to be average by grading standards.
Yep. It's just nobody uses that.
Yeah.
They also don't use S, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'd imagine coming home with an S.
Yo, an S report card. See, but again, the power creep would go crazy because eventually you would get SS report cards or SSS.
That's better than the episode. Report card power tree.
S plus. Let's go.
Alright. Dere. I'll put it in awesome. I might go back to it.
All right, you are more than welcome to go back to it. Next up, Erodere.
Erodere.
Yep,
This is between S or A for me.
that's good man. Good man.
Because I really like just a little bit of teasing and then just complete sincerity afterwards. It's just like...
He gets it.
yes.
Sorry, you are getting points on this. I 100% agree with this opinion.
Then.
It's see the thing
Look,
is,
Tsundere has teasing too.
again, our tsunderes are kind of rough.
I feel like
Yeah.
teasing on tsundere is the other way around, kinda.
Yeah, oftentimes
I don't want to do the teasing. I want to be the teased.
depends on the relationship.
Depends on the medium.
That as well.
And the mode.
I said medium.
Yeah. And I said mode.
But not the mean.
Mean.
No.
Yeah.
They can be mean though.
They can be.
They
Stop.
sure as heck can be.
This is my
Distractions.
I was quiet for yours.
I wasn't told that was in the rules.
Yeah, put Edo in S.
All right. We got Erodere in S. I think it's also the execution is. I think Erodere it's hard because the execution is really important. Because if it's done poorly, I feel like it can be bad.
Icky.
But yeah, exactly. It can get ick really fast. All right, next Hajidere/Teredere, aka very shy and embarrassed.
I don't want to just say it depends, but it depends.
It
Because
does.
like, it can be really endearing unless it's just way too exaggerated.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if I boil it down to just the general idea of they're shy and embarrassed, but they care about you, I'm gonna put it in based.
Okay.
I'd say it's about the same level as just being an idiot.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay, definitely below being an idiot,
Okay.
which is where it is.
Yeah. So you're ordering your tiers too. Okay. Okay. More than anything, I will give points for being specific. It's important that you have an opinion and you don't waffle.
That's
Well, no,
what it
waffling
counts
is
in
okay.
here.
Yeah, I know. It's great. Look, I didn't say it wasn't.
It's
I
okay to
wasn't
want what you don't see in yourself.
Exactly.
Call me daddy. Huh?
That's why I like so many confident characters with high self-esteem.
Exactly.
How much do I really like Kami Daddy?
On
Because
your
like,
face.
if it's an actual goddess, then it's like, yes, please.
Yeah.
Would you like some other examples?
No.
Okay.
This isn't your tier list.
I hate being the host. This sucks.
But if it's just someone who's like, yes, I am better than all of you, but not in a Ojo-sama way.
Yeah, there is a bit of overlap between this
Yeah.
and Ojo-sama's. Or OG
Which is
or...
funny that I put Ojo-sama in. Did I put in It Depends?
I don't know.
I think you
And
put
I
it in
put-
Depends, yeah.
Kami in Superfans.
I think you saw Farina and you were like, yay, Farina.
I like a lot of media where the love interest is a supernatural being or a god. So that's why I put
It's
it.
about the attitude, though.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
but a
It's
lot
the
of them
attitude.
have the same attitude. Like,
Zhongli is a god, yes. Does not have a Kamidere attitude.
I wasn't talking about Chong-Li.
I'm just stating an example, that's all.
I'm not even allowed to talk in my own tier list.
Sorry.
We're just filling in the silence.
No, you're creating sound so that I'm not allowed to speak.
So speak then.
I'm trying. Yeah, I'm gonna put Kami in based in between Baka and the other one.
Alright. Kudere. Cold, expressionless, unapproachable.
I might put this one in meh.
Alright. Is that your final answer?
It's my final answer for now.
Alright. Ahead of or behind or no
I
specificity in
don't
this tier? Okay, no specificity in this tier.
Ojo-sama. Now this one's tough. This one is tough because again, it's the whole scale. The scale is just scale's rough.
Yup.
You are allowed to explain your answer and say like how you're rating it in terms of what you're thinking as well. Feel free.
There's only 7 notes in a scale after all. That's not relevant. I just wanted to make a music joke.
Fair enough.
I was like, and there's like, no, there's 10 things here. It doesn't work. I said it anyways, and I'm proud. I'm not proud, but I said it, and I mean it.
All right.
You see, if it's like a reasonable Ojo-sama, then it's an S.
Okay.
Straight up. An Ojo-sama who follows noblesse oblige kind of deal in mentality. Because obviously Ojo-sama doesn't necessarily mean they're rich.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're just like, haha, I'm better than you, you're all worms, I hate everyone,
That
then
is-
it's meh.
That is the
That is
definitive
straight up,
initial impression. It's what comes after, whether or not like afterwards they feel any sense of noblesse oblige. So if you want to put it in it depends, it sounds like you're leaning towards it depends.
So you're saying like Ojo-sama, or sorry, Ojo-dere, whatever the other
Yeah.
ones are.
Ojo, OG,
Like the initial impression is always that they think they're better than everyone and that everyone is trash.
just the general gist. Like if you were interacting with them, again, you can't know their inner mentality, but the way they carry themselves and the way they talk to people would be that they're initially spoiled and naive.
Because if they think they're better than everyone else, but I'm cool, then it's S.
That would
That's a
probably
good
be
point.
after you get to know them. would be my caveat, because like that is the whole transition. Like you see their
Yeah.
development, right? That's the whole thing with these dere tropes,
I
is
don't
that
think
you're
I
seeing a
can put
development.
That's
Yes.
why I put kudere up top, because when that stoic facade breaks,
I think I'll put it in A.
All right.
I might change that one as well.
Okay.
But it's an A
Ahead
for
of or
now.
behind or no specificity?
Behind, I guess.
Okay. All right. Tsundere. Self-explanatory.
Tsundere.
If you haven't heard of this, I don't know what anime you've been watching.
I mean, I'll just put it in A for now.
Okay. Placement?
Middle.
All right. Lastly, yandere.
Yandere. It depends.
It depends. All right.
I gotta use the whole table here.
All right.
No part of the table goes to waste.
Are we locking it in, or do we have any shifting to do?
Each piece kind of felt right, but then looking at it as a whole, it feels wrong. You know?
yeah, that's how I felt too.
That's how tier lists work. They make you feel that way. That's why I love them. I have way
I
too
was
much fun.
overthinking everything. I put everything up. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I like this.
I want to bump the shy one down to it depends.
Okay. Above or below, or no
Uh,
specificity. I guess it depends. Is kind
It
of
depends is kind of nebulous.
yeah, I was gonna say it depends is pretty.
I want to bump Kudere up to it depends as well.
All right, Kudere wants to go up. I believe that was Ray here. To it depends. All right. Any other movements?
It's symmetric.
Now it is symmetric.
It looks like a little Galaga ship.
It sure does.
Is that also showing my age, or is that like so old that it doesn't show my age?
There haven't really been Galaga remakes, so I think it kind of does show your age. I mean, we're not that old, guys. Come on.
We're old, we are dying.
1 foot in the grave already, huh?
I have a foot and 3 toes in the grave. And a cat. Not in the grave, he's just here.
Oh, okay. You just also have a cat.
He's but a child.
Although I did put a cat in a grave.
Oh.
Yeah, when Candy died, I dug a little
yeah.
hole for her.
Yeah, well, maybe
I
she
didn't
might
kill
be
her.
With all the talking of killing that we do on this podcast, I mean...
No, animals are the one thing we do not kill.
Yeah, we just shut them off
Just
so they don't
bugs.
have a voice.
Just the mosquitoes. Those the
What
people.
are humans if not animals?
We got more
No.
tier lists to go through, guys. Are we locking it in?
I'm gonna lock you in something if you're not careful.
I might like that.
I don't care, I'll still do it. Is Erodere really the only one I put in S? Like,
It is a bold statement.
yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna lock it in.
Alright, he's locking it in. I'm going to take the picture. Moving on to the second tier list.
Mine was a Galaga ship. I would think you're gonna have a hard time beating
His is a Galaga ship.
Mine's not combat ready. I didn't know that was part of this.
Yeah, don't you know our tier lists are gonna literally duke it out afterwards.
Yeah.
I'll keep that in mind.
Alright, so this one is a little easier for me to remember which one's which because I just have more distinct images in my head. And we can eliminate some of these just because I felt the obligation to put some of them in, but I didn't feel like I would be able to actually name specific good examples or any examples really that were significant. But what we have here is some fairly common tropes in anime, webtoon, manga. So we have isekai, the genre. This is not in order, by the way. Unfortunately, I did not insert them in the correct order, but I'll explain each one. Did I put one for isekai, or am I dumb?
I see 3 for isekai.
Yes, I know there's a lot of isekai in here, but they represent something else, okay?
4 for isekai.
They represent something else, okay? Isekai, otome isekai, misunderstandings, usually around romantic interest, teasing/teased, shonen best friends, usually the idiot pervert, perfect/all-knowing protag, Mary Sue/Gary Stu, revenge time travel, knowledge of the future, aka reincarnated into media they consumed, so they know stuff. Why are you pointing those scissors at me? I'm gonna continue. Lovable idiot, villain/villainess becomes the protag, regression/infinite reincarnation, leveling systems, often in isekai, OP protagonist / power fantasy, Onesan, Onisan, Imoto, Ototo, MILF, DILF, and all-powerful doting parent. Did I forget to put images for some of these? I feel like I don't have enough of these. Anywho, you can probably tell what the first one is now by what I've stated. It's DILF. I know, not exactly. You're not exactly the target.
No opinion category?
Sure.
Like above the bottom tier, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. Do you want to add a tier, or do you
Yeah, I
want
wanna
to?
add
Okay,
a
you want to add a tier. All right.
We're putting DILF straight
No
into
opinion.
no opinion.
All right. Fair enough. Not targeted towards you.
I want to make it clear, I don't necessarily lack an opinion on like cool older guys,
Yeah.
but like the specific acronym implies sex.
That
And
is
I do
true.
not wish sex for a man.
Okay.
Yeah.
It depends on how you want to do this tier list, because it's not necessarily. It's about like, do you enjoy the presence of it? Does it detract from it? Like, if it were to show up, would it bother you? I guess that's why it's in no opinion here. But
No opinion.
yeah.
I don't lose or gain anything from specifically this trope.
All right. No opinion. All right. This is Mary Stu / Gary Stu. You got the Isekai smartphone pro tag for that.
I feel like that's similar to overpowered protagonists.
No. Very distinctly different.
Yeah,
Trust me.
Mary Sue doesn't mean you're like OP. It just means you don't have any character flaws.
Yeah.
It means, like, Mary Sue is so much worse than being an OP protag, because OP protag is usually self-aware.
Wow, he's already giving his opinion.
Well, okay. See, I knew I would have a hard time holding back. But I'm trying to specify what the difference is between the two.
Yeah.
Mary Sue / Gary Stu is just kind of, they exist, and they're kind of, everybody just sucks up to them, and it just kind of magically happens, and everybody just accepts it, and there's no, like, self-awareness around it, usually. It's usually a sign of just bad writing, to be quite frank. OP protag oftentimes is purposeful.
I don't necessarily hate it, but I also don't enjoy it.
It's a tier list.
So it's like,
Again, it is
I have
labeled.
to just define to myself where like neutral lies, and then I need to make sure this goes below it.
So one thing I did specifically choose is the bottom is least liked.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily mean disliked. It just means least liked.
Yeah, I know. That's why I don't like your labeling here.
Would you like to change the labeling?
No, because that's work. Yeah.
Okay, so you would like to
Just
change
give
the
me
labeling.
classic letters and then no.
All right, Mary Sue, Gary Stu.
I mean, looking at this tier list, it makes it a lot easier to just put in F.
Idiot best
Perverted
friend.
best friend.
Perverted best friend usually.
F.
All right, fair enough. Imoto.
Well, now I put myself into a thing because I feel like depending on how I put this, could be like, oh, you're into little sisters.
Yeah, that's the problem with Imoto is there is like just the little sister trope of like they're actually a little sister, but there's also the weird anime thing where they're attracted to the sibling.
Even regardless of how it's portrayed in the show, it's like, oh, you like the little sister trope. That must mean you're into little sisters.
Do people really?
It's the internet, yes.
Yeah.
I'll just put it in C for now.
All right.
Because, like, I don't know, it's fine. It's nice, kind of. I don't know.
Okay, this
I
is.
don't know too much. Slap me every time I say I don't know. I mean it.
I think this one was perfect / all-knowing protag.
I really put myself in a bind here. It's like, it's either neutral or it sucks. I mean, I guess if I dislike it, then F is just dislike it and beyond.
Yeah.
I'll put it in C also.
Okay.
There's some examples where it's good, there's some examples where it's bad.
Would you like to order placement in any of these so far?
This is good.
All right. This is...
Actually, put the idiot friend above the other thing.
Okay. So this is Lovable Idiot.
Lovable idiot, we can put that in A.
All right. Rock it up to A. Next up,
S.
no. All right, there we go. Correct opinions.
Was
Misunderstanding, usually in a romantic sense.
F.
Okay.
Hate it.
Solid. Yeah, I'm not doing a great job of not sharing my opinion, but it's hard for me not to get emotional about that. Onesans.
Oh, Naisans. Is it S or A? This has nothing to do with you.
Yeah. See, the problem is Onesans are...
It's a vibe.
Yeah, it is.
I think I just have to put it in S. It's
All
basically like MILF with extra or less steps.
Yeah, Or you could even argue that MILF is the Onesan, but with extra or more or less steps as well.
Yeah, that is how plus or minus works. One is going to be plus or minus the other.
Yes.
All right, what's the next category?
Next category, Onisan. So, older brother. Again, we can kind of like pick and choose. Like, if we want to leave some of these out, for example, if you feel awkward about like Dilfs and Ototo and Onisans, we can leave that out.
It's not whether I feel awkward about it, it's how people are going to react. I can't let my unblemished internet reputation be tarnished by a misunderstanding, which I hate, notably.
Notably hates misunderstandings.
But not because we're talking about MILFs. Just from a storytelling standpoint, older brothers, they can be good. They can be limiting. They could be uplifting. They can be, like, protective.
Gretchen is nodding her head very approvingly.
Let's put them in C. After all that. Yeah, top of C.
Top of C. Alright, this is the OP doting parent. This can range anywhere from like the webtoon royalty having a child that they're overprotective over to the frickin' this image, which is the OP mom who can dual wield.
It kind of depends on how it's being portrayed.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can have like a fiercely protective in like a literal sense parent can be like just great.
Mm-hmm.
Like for an example from One Piece, there's this story of just completely unrealistic story, but it's One Piece of a mother who had the child. I don't think this is really spoilers, but if you don't want like
One
soft
Piece
spoilers
spoiler
for One
warning.
Piece, skip ahead. So the mother of was it Ace? Was Ace's father Gold Roger? Yeah, the mother of Ace, who is the son of Gold Roger, the previous king of the pirates, knew that the Marines were coming to try to find this child and kill it.
Mm-hmm.
So she held him in for like a year in her womb while she was pregnant. Just like kept him in there, cooked him for like an extra year.
Okay, so do you want
It's
to...
just like that kind of thing, just like, I will not let you have this child.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
So, okay.
But just like doting, like, oh,
I will change this then, because it sounds like, and it makes more sense because it's more common. These things just popped in my head as I was scrolling through the different media I've consumed. But we'll change this from just parenthood, just like a good parent, effectively. Because I had this in my mind because I've read a few different series of like characters with ridiculously overpowered parents of like them doting on the protag and then just kind of going through life and having, sometimes it's more family based, other times it's, I don't know how to describe it, but it's different from what you're describing, which is just a protective parent and parenthood effectively as a theme. So we'll change this to just kind of parenthood in general.
All right. English class style, just parenthood. We can put that in A, I think.
All right.
Parents get an A.
This is a terrible image to be using for general parenthood, but so be it.
It's fine.
Okay, this is OP protag / power fantasy.
All right, see, you really put me in a bind here because Shadow is amazing.
Yeah.
Shadow is 10 out of 10.
Very self-aware.
Anything else I kind of don't really like under this category. So even though it's being headed by the image of Shadow, it's just like generically overpowered character.
What I had in mind when I selected this trope was specifically like the self-aware kind, where it's usually a parody of some sort.
Oh, in that case, then forget what I was about to say.
Because like, I feel like a just generically overpowered protag just falls more into the Mary Sue, Gary Stu category. Of like, they're just OP, and
That's what I was saying earlier when I said I thought they were pretty similar. Because you just said, like, overpowered MC. You didn't specify, like, parody specific. Self-aware. That's what I was trying to say. Like,
well, okay,
the
so
overpowered ones are like, oh, they're perfect in every way. They know exactly what to do when there's a problem. They have powers that fix all their problems.
Think about it this way. Isekai smartphone would not be considered just overpowered power fantasy. he's obviously not a power fantasy. Totally a Mary Sue, Gary Stu. His whole superpower is everybody just loves him, and it's because he brought a fucking smartphone with him to the isekai world. God just said, pick one thing. He's like, my smartphone, and he just gets all the women and everything. And like, there's nothing particularly interesting about him, and at least this is my opinion. But it's total like just bland, boring writing in my opinion. A lot of an OP pro tag like Shadow. I'm trying to think of like something in between that's more, because it is a range, right? They do have some overlap.
Yeah, because what we're, I think, getting at combined is kind of like, there feels like there's another category here that's missing, which is just overpowered. Because overpowered doesn't mean Gary Stu, Mary Sue.
That's true.
But like, you have overpowered but aware of it. There's also just overpowered and unaware of it. Like,
and
not
I feel
parody.
like parody should be separated from that.
Okay.
Alright, so parody, if it's just generic parody, I think I'll put it in B.
Alright. Generic parody. Going in B. Otome Isekai.
See, I can't say I don't have an opinion of this because Hamafuda is a great show.
Yeah, I mean, Hamafuda is kind of peak. That's why I chose it.
My food is also kind of parody.
It is, that's true.
Yeah, but whatever. That's not what we're discussing. We're discussing the genre of Otome Isekai. Unless you're going to tell me that doesn't fall into that category, because that will change my opinion.
Okay.
It's still Otome Isekai.
I'll specify
a parody.
I'll specify this. Just think of it this way. Isekai, but different typical settings. So isekai typically is like very fantasy, oftentimes leveling systems, kind of game-like a lot of the time with the isekais. Otome Isekai tends to be more historical leaning, and sometimes they have magic, but it's less frequent. And it's more like European-esque.
Do you agree?
I feel like there's magic in a good bunch of them.
There can be, but it's usually not the focus.
Do you agree?
Yeah. Focus is usually romance.
Romance, nobility, power systems, bureaucracy. Drama.
Misunderstandings.
I think I'm rethinking my tiers here a little bit.
Let's just get them on the tier, and then you can rethink once you're looking at it.
Put it at the bottom of C.
All right.
I'm saying that C now stands for average, which isn't no opinion, but it's like neutral opinion.
Okay.
And I put everything that is in C currently into B in the same order.
Okay.
Behind Shadow.
So this.
Actually, leave Omniscient Reader down in C.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So all
What's the
the
next
pro
one?
tag just stays in C, but the rest move up. This is Ototo, so younger brother.
I feel like younger brother characters are sometimes like the villains.
They can be.
Or
I
like,
feel like they're brats a lot of the time.
yeah, they're like bratty. Sometimes they're the hidden villains. Like they betray you. Maybe this is
Wait
just
a minute.
maybe this is just specific examples. Don't worry.
John plotting his revenge.
Maybe there's just like specific examples of like characters that might not even be younger brothers but are just small men.
Small men.
Well, like we said with like the younger sister and also older brother and sister, it's more of like a
It's a vibe check.
vibe. It doesn't have to be directly blood related.
Yeah. I am struggling to think of examples of younger brothers.
I was not able to think of any.
I guess Luffy. Luffy's a younger brother.
Mm-hmm. But is that like particularly relevant to his character?
Not like a ton.
That was kind of my point. I couldn't think of.
It's relevant to his
Shinpachi.
character, but it doesn't affect like that much of the story.
Yeah.
Shinpachi's a younger brother.
Oh yeah. I mean, put it top of C for now.
Okay. Avoiding that no opinion section like the plague.
Top of C.
Top of C, not bottom of C. All right. This one is regression slash just reincarnating multiple times, essentially. So like when you die, you just time loop effectively.
So we're talking like ReZero.
Yeah.
Like, is it like repeated throughout the series, or for like return to player would that also qualify? Because return to player is like, yeah, he came back, but it kind of feels like a last chance kind of deal. but he still has the
That
knowledge,
is
so it kind
true.
of bleeds in.
I originally, because I know there's a lot of...
Or Summer Time Rendering, which you still need to watch.
Yeah, I know. There's... My original thing was there's a lot of Korean series about, like, infinite regressing, and, like, reincarnating multiple times in the same series. But I haven't read a whole lot of those, so I don't feel keen on forcing that in so much as maybe just having it be any kind of reincarnation that isn't stock standard isekai.
Now, I only have a few examples of this,
Uh-huh.
but I feel like it can be done fantastically,
Uh-huh.
but that's almost more on whoever wrote the story than the genre itself.
Right.
Because, like, Summer Time Rendering,
Really gonna pound this one in, huh?
they made, like, great use of it. And, like, I
No
want to talk
spoilers.
about it, but I don't want to spoil it. For that show, I would put it in S. But I feel like it's just as easy to kind of, I don't know, ruin it. Because I feel like I've only really consumed good examples of this.
I have a whole thing of talking about time travel where, like, I can't get people to think of bad time travel series.
I'll put it in A.
In A? Alright.
I'll put it above The Parents.
Alright. Alright. This is Revenge Reincarnation.
Revenge Reincarnation.
So this is specifically like somebody killed you or something and you died and then reincarnated to like 20 years prior or 10 years prior or 5 years or a year prior or whatever, and then they make it their whole goal of like, I'm gonna get my revenge.
This is specifically reincarnated to a previous time.
Yes, because the whole point is the revenge. Like
I was
there
going
are
to
series
say
that are
Dungeons
specific.
and Artifacts. Because he died.
Ooh, he does die.
Indirectly killed in Chapter 1. And he just revived in the same time period, seeking only revenge.
We'll call it revenge plots in general then. That there's less. That's a more broad topic, so we'll call it just revenge.
I feel like I had like a whole thesis printed out and it just disappeared. Revenge, again, I'm going to sound like a broken record. When done right is pretty good, but I feel like revenge is a lot easier to kind of mess up the plot.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, oh, all I care about is revenge, and then it becomes very one note.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also like Blade and Soul, where revenge is the whole thing, but then your master who's dead is like, that's not a spoiler, is like,
Yeah, it's
oh,
not.
don't give in to revenge. Revenge is bad.
I still watched.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah, I still remember watching that cutscene in the lowest possible quality and how horrible it looked, and it was so funny just because of the horrid quality that I was playing in. Yeah, I mean, revenge plots, when done well, very entertaining. When not done well, just senseless drama.
But I feel like, as a whole, I'm gonna have to put it in C.
All right.
Evaluating. Put it in B for Busy Street.
B for Busy Street.
Bottom of B.
Bottom of B.
Bottom
All
of
right.
B.
Last but certainly not least, villain/villainess becomes protagonist.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to put this one in S.
All right, let's fucking go.
There's just something fun about it.
All right, where do we want it?
Bottom of S.
Bottom of S. All right, below the
But I
MILFs
feel
and the Onaisons.
I feel like S is kind of like, it doesn't really matter where they are in S because it is S.
Yeah. Okay, so you're saying S is mainly not really ordered.
S is kind of like tied for first because you made it to S. Congratulations.
Okay. Is this now take a good look at your tier list? Do you approve of it? John is intently staring at Luffy picking his nose.
That hurt my eyes.
Parenthood gets a bump.
All right, I think that's good.
All
Side
right.
profile of a face.
All right, floor is yours. Dilfs.
Oh.
All right. I don't know if you sense a trend among us, but the Ilfs are doing well.
Talk about stocks. Dilfs have gone up today. It's
Hey,
really
look.
It's really a bull
usually-
market for Dilfs.
Usually they have a stable job.
They would be able to invest in
They've
stocks.
been around a few years. They're doing well. That's what makes them attractive. Okay?
I would
But not
argue,
all of them. Not all are created equal.
I would
With
argue.
any of these.
I would argue that a lot of the DILFs I see are not in a modern era, so it was not really relevant in terms of investing in the stock market.
Shut up.
She's not talking about the stock market.
Just well off in general. Yeah, I mean, older men tend to be more well off. I think. I assume. Anywho, Mary Sue, Gary Stu. Oh, do you want to change the names of the tiers to what John had? Which was okay. No, most liked, in between, and least liked.
The middle is all muddy, just like me, so that's fine.
All right.
Muddy?
What?
You're muddy?
My muddled opinions, my indecisiveness, it reflects. Put it in tween for now.
Tween. All right.
Queen.
All right.
Same thing.
All right. Also into tween. Perverted friend / best friend, shonen best friend. Now, Emoto.
Put it in tween again.
Oh my god. Everything's
I'm
just
getting
going
them on
in
the board
tween.
first. Okay, I feel very average about a lot of these.
All right.
Gretchen's split in tween.
Yeah, yeah.
All knowing pro tag.
I like Dogsha a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but that's like the only
All knowing
series
pro tag.
that I consume of this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm struggling with where to put that one because I like Omniscient Reader a lot.
I was just
Put
thinking
it in B.
Okay. All right. Lovable idiot.
Top of the top.
Tip
Not
top.
top of the top, but just
Not
put it
tip
up
top.
there. I don't order these tiers.
All right. Most liked.
That's too much work.
Milfs.
Directly under the top.
All right. Romantic misunderstandings.
I'll put them at the bottom because they're annoying.
Yep.
But with a caveat, the payoff after the misunderstandings is usually very satisfying. However, misunderstandings tend to be too many and go on for way too long, and that's why I hate them. Misunderstandings, it's so easy for there to just be too many. You get bogged down in them and then they last forever.
Yep. I am of the opinion, like I said, that it's a mechanism for bad writers because it's just, I can't think of how else to drag out the story, so I'm going to insert misunderstanding. Anywho, Onesans.
Onesans, right next to moms.
Aw, yeah. All the way up.
The only reason they're not in most liked is because there are more that I don't like.
There are some bad apples. And also some that are just not targeted at you as well.
Otherwise, they're below most liked, but they're like just touching it, you know?
Okay.
They're holding on to that line in between.
Okay.
Onisan,
Mhm.
you know where to put it. You know
Alright.
where to put
Yep,
it,
yep,
up at
yep.
the top.
Alright.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Do you want to order this or no?
No.
No? Okay. It's parenthood in general.
Parenthood in.
Alright.
Forgot that was the name of a category. Yeah, Parenthood's in this season.
Parenthood is in. It is very much not in terms of societal trends, I'll have you know. Alright, parodies.
Side note, I saw this thing, people were complaining like, oh, my ship is the best because it's canon. And then someone replied with, well, my parents are canon, but that doesn't mean they're necessarily the best ship.
Oh.
Oh man.
Oh no.
Oh. Oh no.
Anyways, this one was parody.
Yep, parodies.
Dirty's nuts in your mouth.
I just slapped John.
I'll put parody at the end of in.
Alright, the end of in. I like.
But if it was representing power fantasy protagonists, that would be in least liked at the very.
Okay, I will say that had I known what these categories were gonna morph into, I definitely would have maybe chosen different pictures.
Otome Isekai at
Yeah.
the top, of course.
Okay.
Get it up there.
Alrighty, at the top. Alright, Ototo, younger brother.
It's right next to younger sisters.
All right.
No
Tweet.
offense to my own younger sibling.
This is not how you feel about younger brothers in general. This is how you feel about their depiction in anime-related media.
I feel like that category tween is like, you know.
It's pretty much the meh category.
The reincarnating, I'll put it in B.
It basically
another
reincarnating
one
without
where, like,
isekai.
I just don't really consume that many of those.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, that's not true. A lot of otome isekai have reincarnation in them.
But they're otome isekai.
Yeah.
They're more dominated by the otome isekai section than they are the reincarnating.
Revenge, put it up there in most liked, baby.
Okay, whoopsies.
What did you do?
I don't know what I
What
did.
did you do?
I right-clicked on something on accident. Alright, anyways.
all those medias where people are like, no, don't do revenge, you're better than this. No, I'm not.
Gretchen
I'm not.
has chosen the path of revenge.
I'm petty. I like revenge. It's satisfying. It's sweet.
What I would say is it's not good to apply to real life, but boy is it entertaining.
No. You're wrong.
Look, I enjoy it. I think it's entertaining, but
Villainous.
villain/villain becomes the protag.
I put it in.
In? Alright. Gretchen has created a very funky looking F.
Yeah.
Very top heavy F is what we'll say. Would you like to make any adjustments?
Yeah, put those two down.
Alright. That is Mary Sue/Gary Stew and Perverted Best Friend being moved down to least liked. Is this your final answer?
Yeah.
Now we don't have a funny F anymore.
Well, now it's a shrimp.
It's a shrimp.
I didn't want to end up with everything in most like, with like, you know, all
Yeah.
all
You didn't want
five
to be
of
too
those
hot,
up
top
there.
heavy. Yeah.
You know?
This is your final answer?
Yeah, it's my final answer. I lock it in.
Alright, locking it in. This one is definitely missing a couple, and two of which I literally already thought of while I was here. But we've got a much smaller one, and then we can do pseudo placements for the two things that I would insert. This one is much more general media, much less specific to anime. We have from left to right, fourth wall breaks, cliffhangers, death, as in death of characters, enemies to lovers, XP/cameos / references, friends to lovers, time travel, and tragedy. Oh wait, did I screw this up? There's supposed to be more. Wait, is there another? Nope. I just screwed it up. Great. That's crazy. Anywho, there was also supposed to be fan service in here and rivals. Wait, okay, I swore I imported the image, but anywho.
Okay. The first one is fourth wall.
Fourth wall breaks. Yep.
I feel like with Gintama as my favorite series, I would be a fraud if I didn't put it high up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Alright.
Cliffhangers, I don't like those. They stress me out, but they do make me want to keep watching.
Look at this repeating rows of cliffs. Look at all of the
It's
cliffs.
beautiful. It's beautiful.
There's so many
to
cliffhangers there.
represent every cliffhanger for every episode or chapter. We'll come back to that one.
Alright. Character death.
No one likes their favorite character dying.
Well, I didn't say your favorite character dying. I said character death.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't like it when a character I like dies, but like, you know, sometimes it causes character development or it makes
Yeah, I was
you
gonna say.
feel something.
That's what I was
Or
going to say.
sometimes it's satisfying when it's a character you don't like
We're-
dying.
We're talking about this in the context
Put
of
it in
it
the
being
middle.
a trope. So what that means to me is what does it do for the story / your enjoyment of the story?
Yeah, then sometimes, you know, writers will make the death really meaningful, and sometimes they'll kill off characters just because. So I'm putting in the middle because there are highs and there are lows.
Okay.
Enemies to lovers is the next one?
Yep.
Put at the top.
Enemies to
Straight to the
lovers.
top.
Straight to the top.
Right to the top.
Alright. Kaguya-sama. This is cameos / XPs / references. So I've got a pick of Raiden-mei / Acheron / Raiden Shogun.
Put it in.
In. Alright. Little callbacks to other series. This is Friends to Lovers. Go to Koi.
At the top.
At the top. Alright.
I just like it when people fall in love. I can't help it.
She liked romance series. All right, time travel.
Time travel goes in.
All right. Tragedy. And we got a pick of Violet Evergarden.
Can one of the tears be I hate it, but I love it?
No.
No!
No, okay. Where do you want I hate it, but I love it to be then? You must choose a place
Tween.
for it.
Change tween to I hate it, but I love it.
All right. I hate it, but I love it.
Put tragedy there.
All right. Tragedy is going right there.
And then put cliffhangers at the bottom.
All right. And least liked. All right. As a bonus, I don't have pictures for them. They were just things that I thought of midway / forgot to put in pictures. Rivals.
Rivals goes in the middle because I've seen some good rivals. You know, they keep things entertaining. They actually push each other to improve, oftentimes in sports, anime, and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen some that are just annoying and obnoxious and like, shut up, go away. We
Fair
don't
enough.
really need you here.
Fair enough. All right. And the other two that I thought of, Femme Fatale.
Was at the top.
All right. And lastly, the wise old man / mentor trope.
That goes at the top too.
All right. So that's easy for me to
Very
remember.
top heavy.
That's easy for me to remember. Though everything that was added goes to the top except for the rivals, which goes into B.
B. B, which also is where B would be.
B.
B.
To
Oh,
be
let me-
or not to be. That is death.
I think they chose not to be.
Yeah.
All right.
But they don't always choose not to be. Sometimes it's forced
Okay,
upon
your
them.
turn.
Would you like to make any adjustments?
No,
All right.
it's
Resetting.
perfect the way it is.
All right,
No
John.
Resetting.
Your turn. Fourth wall breaks.
Yeah, you see, fourth wall breaks. I'm gonna put them in.
All right.
Because I usually like them, but sometimes a show like relies on that entirely, and it's just bad.
That's true.
Okay.
It's one of those good when done well, but like just really bad. But like most of the time, it's done well.
So what you're telling me is you're calling out Marvel.
I have no idea.
Okay. That's something they've gotten a lot of crap for recently. I shouldn't say fourth wall breaks in particular, but cheesy jokes like fourth wall breaks just repeatedly, people have kind of gotten tired of them. I think that's my understanding of the frustration with it, at least. Okay.
Cliffhangers, hate them, least liked.
All right. Get them out of here. We don't need
They
cliffs.
don't even. I mean, they make me want to watch the episode, but like only in that moment, and then I forget about it until I go back to watch the next episode.
There's also the situation of when they're put at the end of like a series that is not guaranteed to get a second season.
I wonder what you might be referring to.
Awful. Wait. I actually don't know what I'm referring to.
Ruby.
Oh. That's not on purpose, but...
I never said it was on purpose.
Yeah, no, but yeah, I mean, I wasn't thinking of anything in particular, but I just know that there's plenty of series that are not guaranteed to get continuations.
Death, Esther, most liked.
All right?
I feel it is so refreshing when a story is willing to kill characters off. Because I feel like most stories just don't do it. Or they only kill off the bad guys or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, that is my frustration with gacha games recently, is they don't kill characters. Ever. Except for Signora, who I will always be salty about that they killed, which is probably why they don't kill characters anymore.
Yeah, and whenever a story does kill a character, if that upsets you, then that's a good story.
Yeah.
They've done it right.
In the case of Signora, I'm just mad because she's not playable.
And I will say, yeah, sometimes stories use death too much or whatever.
Sure.
It's like, whatever, that's always going to happen.
There will always be poor use cases, but on the whole, they tend to be used well.
Yeah.
All right, enemies to lovers.
Yeah, that's pretty good. We'll put it in.
All right, in. XP/cameos/references.
What is XP?
XP is when you have literally the character from that universe and like literally them in an alternate version or an direct alternate version of themselves in a different game. Like, so for example, in this case, the specific example I chose is Raiden Mei, who's a character in Honkai Impact 3rd. She literally shows up. It is literally Raiden Mei that shows up, but in an alternate timeline where she doesn't like form a strong relationship with the main character in Honkai Impact 3rd, that she shows up in Honkai Star Rail as the spoilers for Stariel, I guess. The Annihilator of Nihility, or not the
Emanator.
The Emanator of Nihility.
I was gonna say Annihilator of Nihility. That's a bit redundant.
No, so it's where she is just like all about like sadness and depression, basically. But it is literally the same character, but just an alternate universe. And
Okay.
technically, from Genshin, the Raiden Shogun is also a Raiden Mei XP.
Yeah, they're pretty fun. We can put them. I want to say in, but I feel like that's too high. We can put them in B. Yeah, because like it's too easy to do it for it to be an A tier.
Okay, you're saying ease of execution. You can
Ease
just,
of execution, ease to mess up. You can accidentally just throw away too many characters, and it's like, well, then what makes this different from the last one? But also, I'm kind of a hypocrite for saying that because I like it when characters come back from other things or whatever.
There's also, I mean,
Just
like,
show up.
I don't know if this counts, to be quite frank. I'm not exactly familiar on the terminology, but like, for example, oh no, this is totally fits. Fate characters. It's literally the same character. Like, there are multiple Rin Tosakas, but they're not Rin Tosaka. But they're Rin Tosaka.
I need to call out Monster Hunter here.
It also does that.
It's not necessarily characters, but it kind of is with the monsters. Like, Rathalos, I'm pretty sure, has been in every single game since Rathalos was created.
A fan favorite.
And it's like, yeah, I get that people like it. I'm kind of sick of it. I don't hate it.
Whoa.
But it's like, okay, he's
Hot take.
We should have a whole hot takes episode.
like a dragon who flies around. There's so many of those.
There's a lot of those.
You don't need Rathalos to be in every game. I'm calling you out, Monster Hunter fans. We don't need Rathalos in every game. I've only played 3 of them, really. But yeah,
All right, that's that.
because like that's a slot that a new monster could have taken up. And what if I want to fight a different monster? I could just fight Rathalos in World, in Rise. Like you can fight it. You can play older games. You can do that.
No, what are you talking about? We must consume the constantly generated slop that companies put out.
All right. Anyways, next one.
Friends to lovers.
Friends to lovers. I mean, B.
B.
Not. I don't really have a strong opinion of it. It's like, yeah, romance is cool, I guess.
Time travel.
Time travel. Like I want to put it in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to put it in.
Is it gonna go in?
It's gonna go in.
All right, it's going in. All right, and tragedy.
Tragedy. That's going in most likely.
All right, let's go.
Again, if you can make me feel something, then
Yeah.
you've done a good story.
I am of a similar opinion. I think emotional manipulation, when intentional, as a story mechanism. I'm putting a lot of caveats in here, but as a story mechanism is good. Like, if it makes you feel sad and it was doing that intentionally, then I think it did it well. Most likely.
All right, let me just take another look here.
You can take another look, but also bonus categories. There's 3 bonuses
True.
to put in.
Hit me with them.
Femme fatale.
S.
Alright. Easy yes. Wise old man trope / mentor.
Good. I would like to call this exceptional but done to death, to use Reddit terms.
That's true. I can understand that, but
I'll put it
where do
in
you
B for now.
In B, okay. And rivals.
I feel like a good rival is good, but I feel like most rivals are just kind of meh.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna make it the only tween.
The only tween. All right.
Because rivals are usually tweens anyways.
I mean, you're not wrong there.
I might be.
All right.
You don't know. Maybe you do.
I'm the host. I decide what is wrong and right.
You're
This
right,
episode.
You're right.
I'm going to abuse my power. All right. And John has put it in tween. All right.
It was, as it appears on the screen, it's like a skinnier side profile of a face.
Yeah.
But with the additions, it's kind of just a lump. It kind of decreases.
In art value.
See, I put one of them here, and here, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's basically just rectangle and smaller rectangle.
You've
also
got
known as square.
It's the letter P.
yeah.
This episode brought to you by the letter P. Let her be. She deserves it.
I don't know about anything about deserving it, but I think that's just the thing you need to
Are you
do.
gonna say she doesn't deserve it?
Wow.
Are you saying it's not an unalienable human right?
Wow, Mr.
I'm saying it's
Sexist
a
over
thing
here.
you need to do to live.
Yeah.
That's
AKA
not very
deserved.
feminist of you, Al.
All right.
I think the host power is going to his head.
I think so.
It's been to my head. What do you mean? It's been in my head the whole time. All right. Well,
Alright, pass thy judgment, O host.
all right. I'm just gonna take this to judge.
You could always just do rock, paper, scissors.
That would be funny.
That would
This
be
whole
funny.
episode, we just rock, paper, scissors.
I'll just rock paper scissors to find out. Fuck it. I'm going with Gretchen. Gretchen, you
I'm
win.
correct. I told you.
The
I told you I'm correct.
would you like to have a speech, or is that your speech?
That's my speech. I'm correct. I told all of you.
Any thoughts,
And you
John?
doubted me. I'm correct.
Gretchen's not correct, but you can't win them all.
We have some very similar opinions on a lot of this.
Yeah, and yours are not correct.
Those slight differences are the real makers.
I never said I was correct. I just said she's not.
Yeah. I should probably hit stop recording now. I'm just looking at the tier list.
I was waiting for something, but I guess there was nothing.
No, expecting anything of me is bold. Well,
You
Thank
clapping
you
for
for-
yourself.
I'm clapping for us.
thank you for joining us. I don't have to be host anymore, so you don't have to deal with this shit. I feel like I had something more to say. Oh well, I'm ending now.